checking in live, and those of you who are texting me saying, hey, you didn't go live yet. I'm sorry I'm late, but had to finish some work today, okay, guys? If you're watching live, put hello. If you're watching a replay, go ahead and put replay in the comments. So, I just wanted to say and give a shout out to my friends that I've actually been reconnecting with. Remember, the whole purpose of this journey was for me to reconnect with friends and family that I haven't talked to in a while. And I want to give a shout out to all my high school girlfriends. We actually had a great talk and get together over the weekend. And then today I got a call, or actually I reached out to one of my friends who inboxed me. I hadn't seen her since college, but we were actually friends when I was 5 years old. Remember I told you guys that I lived with my dad for a year in Baltimore? Well, she used to walk me to school every day when I was 5 years old. And she saw one of my stories and reconnected, and we actually had an awesome conversation today. So shout out to Yoli if you're out there and you're listening. So this really has been becoming meaningful for me. Hopefully it's providing some great memories for you as well. So today we're going to keep talking a little more. I introduced you guys to my wonderful husband, Tillman. As I mentioned yesterday, we met in college, and he really has been so supportive with anything I put my mind to. He actually helps me to make it happen. And what I wanted to talk about today is there was a time when I worked in college where Disney World. Okay, guys, just right there. Disney came to college, to Syracuse, and they were looking for people to be a part of their Disney internship program that they had in the summer and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to apply. Now, keep in mind, there was hundreds of people who were applying, and they were only selecting a handful of people. So let me tell you what Tillman did to help me to stand out. He gave me this nice Mickey Mouse portfolio. You know, when you have your notebooks and stuff, it had Mickey Mouse stuff all over it. He also got me a Mickey Mouse watch, so that way people could see when I was in the interview process, oh man, this girl's really into Disney, right? And I think it worked because I got picked. So I was so excited that I was selected to actually work at Disney World in Florida for the summer semester. So let me tell you how that was. I mean, we all know Disney is magical, right? If you've been to Disney World, put Disney in the chat right now. I want to know how many of you guys have been to Disney. I mean, I didn't go until I was about 11 years old, but to have the opportunity to work there, let me tell you how it was. So they had this program, and it was like a triangle of experience. It was about living there, learning there, and earning there, all right? So let's talk about the living portion. So we had these beautiful apartments called Vista Way in Orlando, but it wasn't free to live there. Let me tell you, Disney was not going to let any dollars go by. They actually deducted the money for our rent from our paychecks every week. And it was about $100 to $150 depending on what size apartment you had. So they would deduct it from your paycheck. I had two roommates. One girl was from Colorado. The other girl lived in New Jersey. And so we got along great. We had a good time. One girl, I think she focused on merchandising, and I was selected to do an attraction, and I'll talk about that in a second. So the second portion of that, so we just talked about the living and how that was set up, right? And they had buses that would take us back and forth to get to Disney World, depending on which location you worked at. Now, the learning portion, we also had classes. So we had seminars. We would have pretty much behind-the-scenes tours on how Disney would do certain things. But let me tell you what they did that was ingenious. They would have these breakout sessions where they wanted the groups, the students, to come up with new attraction or new ideas for Disney World. So they're pretty much crowdsourcing ideas for new attractions at the location. I remember one of them was the Michael Jackson experience. I forget, I can't remember the guy that was in the movie. It was like a little puppet thing that was with him. But that came from the section that I was at, where they decided to make that attraction related to Michael Jackson. And you know, I loved it because I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, right? But we also got college credit for attending those seminars and classes. They helped you with career development because those who wanted to major in hospitality and merchandising, they were able to get some additional help with that. And the third portion of the program was earning. So you got to select, or actually, you didn't get to choose. Let me back up. They determined which area you were going to work in depending on your major and things like that. So I was selected to work in attraction. And I think that's probably why I like talking today. It's because of the attractions that I did back then. So I don't know if you guys remember this ride. It was the Land Pavilion, sponsored by Kraft, and the song that you heard in the background was Listen to the Land. And it was a boat ride. And what made it special was that there was only a handful of rides at Epcot Center that you actually would hear a human doing the spiel or doing the narration or whatever it is. Most of the time it was robotic or it was recorded. But I had to memorize a 15 to 20 minute spiel, get on this boat, and talk about hydroponics to all of these people on this boat. And people would come from all over the world to go on these rides, right? So I loved it because I was meeting new people. I remember because I knew some Spanish, I was excited when people would come on from another country. There was this one time these people came in from Brazil. Now, we all know they speak Portuguese, but I'm like, I'm going to use my Spanish today and see how they like it. So I started to do part of my translation in Spanish. And I remember at the end, they were giving me a round of applause because they were like, hey, and they were speaking in Portuguese. But I was so excited because I was able to translate as much as I knew at that time in Spanish. But that was an amazing experience because I really think it did prepare me. It took a lot of time. I remember practicing with Tillman. I had to memorize this 15 to 20 minute spiel, talk about plants, and they would actually use the food that they grew inside this Land Pavilion to use in their restaurants at Epcot. It was awesome, okay? So, let me ask you this. What's your favorite ride at Disney if you did go? For me, at Epcot, I have to say it was the one that I worked at. But Space Mountain was really my favorite ride, which is at the Magic Kingdom. But let me know what your favorite attraction is, no matter which Disney park it's at. I want to hear. Go ahead and put it in the comments what your favorite ride is. So this was just another example of where Tillman and I actually were apart. Remember I mentioned, yes, we met when I was a freshman. And we had a couple of times where we still had periods of separation and a long-term relationship where he took off a semester and had to stay home. This was a portion where I was away for the summer, so I didn't get to see him. And tomorrow what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you about another situation where we had to really manage a long-distance relationship while still in college. So I just wanted to share a little bit of my journey with you and how Disney actually did shape my future. I didn't even think about it until I was putting together my thoughts about what I was going to talk about today, to be able to present, be able to memorize, and really embrace all cultures because I like just having fun and meeting new people, right? So I want you guys to tune in tomorrow. If you're watching live, thank you. If you're watching a replay, I appreciate you as well. Put replay in the chat. And let me know, don't forget to answer those questions that I asked you guys today. I want to thank you guys for watching and have a fantastic and fabulous Tuesday.